We had a deal, you fucking animal! Oh, dude, did you fuck this bread? You fucked the shit out of this bread. You don't fuck bread, God.
I had me a vision. There wasn't any television. From looking into the
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Shaun
and Sarah,
and welcome to my future husband face fucked episode 18.
18, not 19.
This is not 19. This is 18.
You must
we
have
probably
that.
should be on. We should be on like fucking 30, but
Welcome to our life.
you know, easy come, easy go. Slow and steady wins the race, people.
That's right.
That's right.
More
If
tortoise.
anything that the tortoise taught us, because that hare got distracted.
He's probably out of breath a lot too.
Thought
you
he
know?
could. Then he fell under hubris. Thought he could take a nap.
Exactly, and that tortoise is like, fuck this shit.
And the tortoise was like, "See you, sucker," as he sauntered to the finish line.
And then an Asian man picked him up and made soup. After winning the race.
Well, that's the after.
Because then he's a prize-winning tortoise.
That's like the post-credit stinger on the tortoise and the hare story.
He became tortoise soup.
Because it is a horror story in general. It's a story about bullying, about expectations, about assumptions. And then the tortoise thinking that at the end of the story, the tortoise becomes the bully. Okay, because he tells the hare that his lifestyle is inappropriate. Basically, tells the hare he's like, hey man, you try to live life too fast. And the hare's like, fuck you, buddy. Because I think that
as he's like tapping his arm, like holes from his heroin needles and stuff.
Well, the hare was like, yeah, he's probably all like coked up.
Yeah.
Or took some speed and he just crashed hard.
Do I need that nap?
Needed to get that nap in. And he thought he'd be good. Because that tortoise, in defense of the hare, that tortoise is fucking slow. Slow as shit.
Yeah.
Fuck that tortoise, man. The more I think about it, the more I'm on the hare side.
You would be.
I know.
I'm a tortoise girl.
Although the hare should have known better. You don't need to poke fun hare. Okay? Just, be judgment free.
Right.
Don't be like Phil Robertson.
Oh, Lord.
Is what I'm saying.
We're not getting into that.
I've never seen that show. I've never seen it, so I don't know.
It's okay.
It's a show about hillbillies.
It's a show about hillbillies,
Yeah.
and to one degree, it does show what a lot of liberal media and television does not want you to see. So it's kind of the antithetical to a lot of NBC shows per se. But at the same time, it's fucking dumb.
Well, it's dumb because
it's the way they portray people on that show, the family on that show, is they do it in a sense where you kind of laugh at how
yeah. Are you laughing at them or are you laughing with them?
My opinion was laughing at them.
Well, but have you ever really watched the show? Or did you watch it through the veil of the soup?
No, I watched. I probably watched 3 or 4 episodes of that show.
3 or 4 episodes.
I know you give it a season. I know you give it a season.
No, reality shows I don't care.
No, I watched 3 or 4 episodes. Yeah, that's what guided me there. But I watched the show.
Yeah.
And then your brother was actually watching it, so I'd stop and watch little scenes while
he was watching Duck Dynasty?
Yes. Mr. Ryan Deegan, I'm calling you out.
That's terrible.
He watched for a couple nights until he'd fall asleep too. So I'd walk by the TV and just stop and watch a couple scenes and then keep walking.
I don't know. I've never had any interest in watching it.
You're not missing much.
I don't think I am. I know they've captivated America. Seriously, if anything, I don't really have any awareness what the show's about. I don't know who they are or anything about that show.
So the Duck Dynasty, it's called such because they've made a ton of money and they produce duck calls for hunting.
Okay.
And they make really good duck calls. And that's why it's called the Duck Dynasty.
Duck calling business.
Best in the backwoods, you know what I'm saying.
So they were rich before the show started.
Yeah, they're pretty well,
They were wealthy.
Yeah.
Or well off.
Well off,
rather.
They lived comfortably.
Nobody's really wealthy.
They lived comfortably.
They lived very comfortably for their hillbilly lifestyle.
Yeah, and and they live certain ways, still just, quote, stay true to the the aspect of their
Of
backwoods.
the hillbilly culture?
Yeah, their backwoods life. But at the same time, they're still afforded with a lot more than people because they excelled in this industry of duck calls for hunters. And that's what it's a family business, too.
Yeah.
So it's like the characters in the show are all a family that make duck calls for hunting. So that's why it's called Duck Dynasty.
Oh. And the reason why it's popular is because they're somewhat eccentric?
They're kind of, it's just like they kind of have like hootenannies. You know, like...
Hootenannies?
Hootenannies.
Oh man, I haven't been to a hootenanny in a coon's age.
I know, right? No, and it's like, you know, you got like the older, like grandfatherly
That was a joke.
figure. No, it's not.
No, it was me using the word coon was a joke.
No, I think everyone got it. Hopefully. No, but it's like, you know, you got the one grandfatherly figure who will go eccentric in some points and wear like feather boas, and you're like, oh shit, he's wearing a pink feather boa. And you're like, he's like, I don't have enough glitz. And he just like moves the feather boa. And you're like, what, Sai? And then, you know, and then they do like weird things in the country, you know, or not weird things, just things in the country that are, you know.
Okay.
But then, like, the main focus of the show lately has been, like, their core Christian values.
Well, how do you know? How do you know? I'm actually curious. You just read articles or whatever?
Yeah.
Keep up to date with, like, do like E! News reporting or
No,
BuzzFeed?
not-
Is it like
no,
BuzzFeed?
it's
Top 10 things we learned about Duck Dynasty this episode.
Actually, Sean, you'll be surprised to find out it's neither. No, I read just, like, articles that journalists have written lately, especially because of the fallout with this whole... And what happened was, like, on my Facebook, a lot of people were, like, half and half were feeding on, you know, just, like, for the freedom of speech aspect, and then some people were just saying, like, I guess this Duck Dynasty thing's important, let me weigh in on it, and then some people actually liked the show, so they felt compelled to, support it in some way, even saying, like, fine, if their, like, network is gonna pull it, move it to CMT, ha ha ha.
Really? People in your social circle?
Yeah.
People that surprised you or not?
They didn't surprise me, you know, but it's just people
Because-
I've known from childhood and
Well, that's
I've
what
met.
I mean. Like,
yeah.
people that, like, from my older experiences tend to be probably a little bit more on the liberal side. And the things that I heard was just, like, the vitriolic response to... Because what he did was, I believe he quoted Corinthians.
Quoted Corinthians,
Right?
and
he
it was...
quoted the Bible, and I'm not sure if... I don't know what the interview entailed, because I have no fucking idea.
Because you don't read GQ.
I don't read, and I don't know anything about that aspect. Like, because we've talked about this on the show before, like, I'm really out of touch with most modern pop culture, with, like, most modern television, with, like...
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to reality TV, like last time I watched anything, like, current was, like, 5 years ago, and it was, like, those terrible VH1 shows.
Which I was watching at the same time as you. We just didn't know each other.
I didn't know each other at the time. But, like, so that's, like, my extent of knowledge about that stuff. So I always had my preconceptions and stuff. So in an effort to, like, just maybe understand it or just see if my preconceptions lined up, we started watching some stuff.
Yeah.
Duck Dynasty, though, it's not something that... I'm not really interested in watching things that are at the expense of the subjects. I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would never want to watch, like, something, or things that are just overtly trashy. Like, I would never, there's nothing I'm going to learn, or there's no cultural value in me watching something like The Real World, or some type of modern equivalent.
You're absolutely right. No, but, like, I think what got me reading the articles and stuff was just a very interesting article point that was being made in some weird way. Was like, you know, he was just expressing something from his belief, but at the same time he also said, like, I don't discourage against people that are different from me. We're all different and we're all made by the, like, Almighty.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna, because someone's different from me in any way, I'm not gonna hate them because he doesn't hate them either.
Did he say that?
He did.
So it's like one of these instances
It's being, like, misconstrued.
Yeah, things taken out of context, right?
Yes, because he said it, and then he's also said things contrary to, from what I've read, and I did research on what he said, and he said it in another interview.
Yeah.
Where he was like, I'm not going to hate against someone, you know, for being different. And he didn't explicitly say homosexuality, but at the same time, he was acknowledging that, you know, someone who lives differently than me, because in his opinion...
It's wrong.
It's wrong. It's wrong to hate someone because they're different. Because in his opinion, the Lord loves
Everybody.
all his children.
It's hate the sin, not the sinner.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean about trust in no sinners though.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. That's in a short story that I never finished writing.
Finish it. No, but I mean, so that's like the weird thing I've been kind of like following. That's why like I was led to follow this story.
Well, that's
in a way.
like, you know, I made an assumption about like the entire situation was like, oh, I bet this is taken out of somewhat taken out of context. The people are blowing out of proportion, and like, and anytime like organizations, official organizations that speak for a minority group. Or speak for like people of a certain persuasion, whether it be homosexual or transgender.
It's not even that. It's just a collective in general.
Well, then I get suspicious. Yeah. I get suspicious because these groups, more often than not, are very suspect, and they have a lot of weird political agendas that go beyond like their support of the LGBT community. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I got it. I'm up with the times. But like. Up with the time circa 1996.
No, good on you for not being a part of that, the Human
Rights Campaign?
Yeah, Human Rights, fuck that.
Human Rights Campaign is, because I found out about the Human Rights Campaign when, the marriage equality thing and the equality sign started up. And so I researched it and I wrote a good article about it, and Sarah actually informed me a little bit about them. Mm-hmm. So, and not that I didn't believe Sarah, but like I was going to write a piece about it, so I think it's one of the better things I wrote. It's called what is it called? Equality, Caring as a Trend, and RuPaul.
Congratulations for remembering.
Yeah, congratulations. And so I researched the group, and you find out that there's a lot of like bias in that group, and
there's a ton of bias, and it frustrates me that a lot of people support them.
They're incredibly political. I mean, like they're involved with like Goldman Sachs, and like gave like Goldman Sachs like Best Business Award of 2011, I think it was, or 2010. Like, so they have like a lot of like weird affiliations that are
because they're not actually supporting like equality rights, because you have to get into that point of the other aspects of the LGBT, you know, like if you want to like represent that group, and they don't, because they often ignore the trans and the, you know,
well, it's not, it's like
no, they do, they outright like disregard trans rights.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are trans rights?
No, they kind of more focus on, like, the marriage equality kind of thing, where it's like, you know, women should be able to marry women, and men should be able to marry men, and, like, they don't focus on the other aspects of, like, this equality culture that people look for. That was always my, like, look into it, was, like, there are other people that identify as other. While it gets convoluted and kind of weird and crazy, it's out there. Yeah. And so if you're talking about human rights and human equality, which is what that fucking equal sign's supposed to be, they don't do it. And you're right, they're supported by a lot of major corporations. They support major corporations that don't, I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, it's like just weird.
It's like in the same way that all these kind of like, what do you call them, groups or whatever, they can become very incestuous, and they're all just like, and not incestuous in the way that like they all are like.
So they also support the equality for brother.
They're all interconnected, and they belong to a circle, and no like reality is ever brought into the circle.
No,
it's kind of like this idealistic kind of bullshit where you get like people that like go to school for like peace studies are like involved in like these, you know, like shit like that. And then, you know, no offense to anybody that like gets degrees and that stuff, but like kind of give me a break a little bit. I mean, seriously, peace studies, really? I mean, not to say that like, I mean, my fiance is got a degree in philosophy, and like,
thank you.
While she's more of an enlightened person,
no,
we can't like really do anything with that degree, like as far as unless you're already connected and you're like somewhat like nepotism involved.
Unless I want to just sell my name, which I don't.
Or be from a place of affluence, because you have to have the time and the ability to go sit there and be like, hey, I'm going to spend 2 years writing a thesis on something.
No, the realm of philosophers come more for sophists than actual thinkers. That's what I want. Yeah.
All right, well, let's come back down to earth here. Go back to this Duck Dynasty thing, just for a few minutes, because like I didn't mean to start talking about this. We just kind of.
But I mean, it's relevant.
No, but this is kind of the best conversations you can have. Things that just kind of happen. And, like, I don't like to deter because we have to fit into a formula. And we talk about movies and TV shows.
Rah,
goddammit.
rah,
We
rah.
talk about music occasionally.
And video games.
And video games sometimes. It's like a nebulous podcast. That's what we should call it, the nebulous podcast.
No.
I might call this episode the nebulous episode. Welcome to the Nebular.
Who cares?
Let's start talking about DMT and all the shit I've been reading about today.
No, let's not.
We'll save that for another time.
Oh, Jesus.
No, but like, so do you think this is like? Because for me, like I said, like I just assumed it was kind of like being blown out of proportion or taken out of context, as a lot of these things do. Because I think there is a real hatred towards people that identify as like Christians and mainstream. And I'm like, I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm not like a God-fearing person. I don't really believe in God, and I was raised Catholic, but like, I'm not Christian, or I'm not affiliated with anything like that. I don't despise it, but because I kind of understand it because I grew up in it, so I get like some of the aspects of it. I think there's just as much good as there is bad involved in it, but like, I do think that there's this, and it's like just a loud minority of people that like really hate, like and then they call it the nature of intolerance, right?
It's this agnostic atheist trend that's been happening, I would say, in the last like 5 years.
Yeah,
it's hip, it's happening, it's cool, it's now.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And that is highly associated with anyone that identifies as a liberal, liberated person, like, in a way.
Because they don't understand the terms.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, so, like, I don't know if this is, like, some sort of, like, smear campaign, and also, at the same time, why do magazines continually ask this person the same fucking question? Like, almost waiting for it to blow up, or waiting for it to be able to be, like, in a situation where it's going to catch on and be taken out of context, because he said, supposedly, and obviously this is probably out of context, he said black people were better off under the Jim Crow laws.
I wasn't aware of that.
Neither was I, and I'm taking that with a grain of salt. Like, I would take that with a grain of salt. That's just something, like, I read on Twitter, and I'm sure that's somebody taking
Twitter?
that...
Oh, come on.
I'm sure that's taking...
Oh, come on.
No, I'm sure that's somebody taking that out of like, context.
Yeah, no, totally. Or, yeah, nitpicking at a comment, or, I don't know, it's...
Well, taking it out of context. You take a sentence out of context, if it's like, say if it's an interview and you're reading like the written version of it, you take like one sentence out of an entire paragraph answer, it's going to look like something else. It's going to look like something different, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just, like, I don't understand, like, this, like, self-righteous, indigenous, like, crucifixion policy we have, like, with, like, people that have opinions that are different than ours. And, like, and I just, on the one hand, like, should you be tolerant of intolerance? I guess that's the question. Like, how angry should somebody be about something? For me, this is like, okay, you fucking hillbilly said something, a Christian hillbilly said something, a Christian hillbilly would probably say, like...
But that's also, I think that's also a wrong thing to assume.
You're right. No, it is. You're right. You're totally 100% correct.
And that's what brings us back to why someone from the magazines will ask someone something incessantly, because we're so stuck in these molds of, like...
These cliches.
Cliches.
Yeah.
No, and I think in a way that's, like... I don't know. I get frustrated with things like this.
Yeah, I do, because, I mean, there is no really easy answer. And it's okay to be, I guess, upset about it, but the thing that people are getting upset about is something that's, like, out of context. And, you know, if you have the caveat or the qualifier, like, well, but I don't feel it's right for me to hate any of God's creations. Well, does it lessen the blow, or does it matter?
No, but the thing with him bringing God back into it as well was previously the previous problem with this show was... They were
saying the word Jesus, right?
Jesus, and they were praying on the show, and it started to get, like, censored, or people were getting upset that it wasn't, you know, it was, like, this whole convoluted thing, like, are they allowed to pray? Are they allowed to, like, say these
ridiculous
things?
Discussion.
It is ridiculous because that is their belief and lifestyle.
And it's a show
It's a
about
show
them and their lifestyle.
And their lifestyle and
So,
their existence.
I think...
No, I completely agree with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Which is, like, absurd, but that was the first thing they encountered. And so then every other, like, weird thing that has come with it has, like, kind of come from that.
Yeah. Which is a weird thing just because, like, whether people like it or not, like, the vast majority of America is Christian.
Yes.
The highest percentage.
Yes.
So it always goes back to this, like, small...
Fuck those Puritans.
The small vocal minority of people that would complain about something like that.
Yes.
And it's, I think it's just, and I think it's really weird that, like, a network would kowtow to that small vocal minority when, like, honestly, like, if they lost their viewership, it probably wouldn't really matter. Like, as far in terms of ratings and advertisers. Although that maybe that's what it is actually, is advertisements.
Which is something they're not obviously talking about publicly, so...
Yeah, it might be something, is it A&E that it's on?
Yes.
Like, maybe it has something to do with advertisers, and people are, like, threatening to boycott these advertisers, like, products or whatever, and advertisers are putting pressure.
Or vice
'Cause that's
versa,
usually
or
how,
we're like, we don't want to be associated with this.
a lot of times that's how, like, in the modern day, in this past, like, 20 or 30 years, like, advertisers are a big part of, like, what is allowed to be on TV and what isn't on TV. They put an immense amount of pressure on certain, like, television shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I don't know. That's an interesting, I guess, aspect of it that I haven't really heard anybody.
I haven't heard
discuss.
anything either, so I mean, I don't know.
Here I am, just pulling back layers, peeling the onion. Find this artichoke heart.
Even artichokes have hearts. No.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. That's
It's
just
just been a weird thing.
Interesting thing, I guess. But it's just another example of, like, really who gives a shit.
No, because it's even to the point where people, like, on my social media sites have been, like, literally, like, 3 people posted, here is my Duck Dynasty post. I guess I matter. Like, I care about this. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, because
Is it that relevant
you
that you
have to do it in a post-ironic, like bullshit way.
Yeah.
Like, well, everybody else is talking about it.
So I guess
Because I was, like, thinking about it. I was like, man, I might go, like, I was gonna, like, read about it and, like, maybe write about it, but I was like, I don't know.
No, I
don't
wouldn't.
care.
I wouldn't,
care
but
enough.
I've read about it.
I don't care enough. Because the last thing I like that really, like, I guess irritated me, and this hasn't really gotten to that level because this in particular I could really give 2 shits about. Honestly, because it doesn't really matter, and people are crying like freedom of speech and this and that. Is his freedom of speech being violated? No, it's not. Like, he got to say it, and then well, I guess, well, maybe it is if you consider it he's being punished for what he said by being
We
taken.
have freedom of religion and we have freedom of speech, Sean.
And he's being taken off the show, which probably won't stick. And
No, it's not gonna
because
stick.
if I understand correctly, he's like the most popular part of the show.
I'd say second.
I'm sorry, second most popular part of the show.
To Psy.
I don't know who that is.
It's the really old man.
Okay.
He was just kind of weird.
Okay. Well, he is a draw for the show.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen his face before. That's what I know of him.
You've probably seen all 4 faces, especially because
Well, I have on magazines,
and it's also because we frequent Walmart
on the
to go for beer runs
at Publix. The
tabloids.
tabloid rack. I've seen pictures.
No, but Walmart's just full of, like, buy these
Oh,
slippers.
yeah, there are all these Duck Dynasty crap. Yeah.
The slippers are Psy. It's like, buy these, like, plush slippers, buy these shirts, there's actually cologne I found when I was looking for a Secret Santa gift there.
Probably smells like ducks.
Probably just smells like wet.
It smells like swamp. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. The only major company that has, like, I guess they're pulling Duck Dynasty merchandise is Cracker Barrel. They're pulling their Duck Dynasty merchandise.
Well, at least, as long as I can sit in their sweet rocking chairs,
So it's
I
like,
don't care.
You know, home-style cooking, wooden chairs, audiobooks, and fucking tolerance. That's Cracker Barrel, people.
And biscuits.
Gay rights.
Biscuits.
Biscuits. And biscuits, and biscuits, and biscuits.
Alright.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
Holy shit. 24 minutes of Duck Dynasty discussion.
Who cares?
No, I don't care.
I'm sure our 4 listeners don't really care either.
Yeah, you probably loved that. You fucking sick bastards.
Paul probably enjoyed it.
You probably loved it. Paul doesn't listen to this. He's my best friend, and he doesn't care. I don't know, we do have a few things to talk about. I jotted some stuff down. Because Sarah and I, one of our biggest problems we have whenever we do this is, like, we don't fucking write things down. Because we watch a lot of stuff, and we'll get here and then completely blank on it. Tasan something or other won the voice.
Tasan Chin.
San Chin won the voice.
Tasan Chin, ladies and gentlemen,
is the voice.
Is the voice of our nation.
Okay.
Which we called from, like, episode 3.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Will you ever watch The Voice again?
Probably not.
That's the same for me. That show kind of sucks.
Dude, the blind auditions, I was excited because I was like, go get some weird singers.
No.
Not really. Because even the ones they passed on, pretty good.
Yeah, no, they had to. It's not like American Idol has like a system of like literally open casting, where people just go to their place, they're going to hold the auditions and get in lines.
Troll them or just suck or blow it away.
Yeah, and they just get in the line and they wait to see if they get in. Because if they pick enough people, you know, from that area, then they just stop, and everybody's like, "Oh, sorry," like, and you just go home. So you can just get a cornucopia, just a large swath of people. I believe The Voice that you have to pre-audition for the audition. So you send in something of you singing or whatever, and
or you go to an audition. We don't know what.
I don't know what the process is, but it's not just any average Joe that's there and like gets a chance to.
No, because even the ones they didn't turn on, I was like, they're all right.
Yeah, everybody was okay.
And not that I love reveling in other people's failures, which secretly I do. I think that's what makes it interesting, though, is to see the actual, like, depth of people who try to do these things.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really there for The Voice. And then, like we've talked about on, I guess, 2 episodes now, it's more about, like, the coaches trying to win for a while, so it's like...
Yeah, for a large
and then I think
portion of the show, it's about the coaches. Towards the end, it's
towards
a little
the
bit
last,
more about the
I would say, like,
contestants.
3 or 4 episodes, it came more about the contestants, but...
But I will say this about the show, as you watch it, like, you see... How do I put this? They are whitewashing those contestants. You see less and less of their unique personalities as it goes on, and they become more in tune with like what major kind of record producers want.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like as far as like from the way they look,
no, 'cause, like,
the way they act, the way they're presented, like it becomes you watch somebody become a product. American Idol is very much the same way. It's like as like it gets down to fewer and fewer people, you see them more and more as like a sold product, like being prepackaged for the country.
No, the example for I guess this show was the guy you liked, Will. He made the top 3.
Yeah,
Will, you liked him. I thought he was all right. He had a very unique voice, and if you like look at the progression of him, his hair was kind of unkempt and curly and crazy. He was more like raggedy. No, his voice was no. But even his voice was more like kind of rigid and like unique. And then he just became this, like... The point of that show is belt it. Just belt it.
Yeah, and if you the bigger you can belt it and stay in key and, like, and keep your tone, like, good and not break, the better off you're going to be. Because that's what...
You are the voice!
No, because that's what, like, people, the general public, like America, voting for these contestants, that's what they respond to. They want these big moments because it creates like an emotion inside of you, and people just respond to it just because they think they should.
Yeah,
like Tasan, right? We knew
from like episode 3.
I knew her audition. I was like, that is the winner of The Voice because she is so. And not to take anything away from her, she's a very talented singer.
No, she is.
But like she is so stereotypical of just mainstream music of what you want, like from like just having a strong, like, confident, knowing what she's doing, like, voice. Like, that is on par with anybody. It probably better than most people that you hear. You know what I mean? Like, she's very much fits into that, like, that kind of... Almost kind of, like, modern diva, like, type of, like, kind of vocal style.
No, totally.
She can do these... She's
fucking sang Whitney Houston effortlessly.
Ballad singer. She's a ballad singer. And she's a good ballad singer.
Her idol,
but she's
Celine Dion.
But, like, I think she's boring. I thought she was boring.
No. A lot of singers on that show are boring to me.
I mean, but that's because we like maybe not
That kind of music.
that kind of music generally. No, we don't. No. Because I think a lot of that stuff is generally boring. But
How dare you talk about Celine that way?
Celine Dion, like, you talk shit about her you want. Celine Dion's a very good singer, and nobody sounds like Celine Dion.
She's also boring.
I think it depends.
Except for when she had her
Like, My Heart
entire...
Will Go On is a boring song, yeah.
Except for her live version of Feliz Navidad, where she had her entire French-Canadian brothers and sisters, which is like 10 of them.
Yeah, good for her.
Sing it live with her.
Sticking up for the fam.
Thank you, Mom.
Sticking up for the fam.
Thank you, Mom, for showing me that when I was young.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really want to dwell on The Voice too long, but I don't think I would watch it again. Like, I'm happy. I guess I'm
we
happy I
spent
saw
5
it.
minutes on The Voice.
That's 5 minutes more than it deserved, because we talked about it last time. But, like, I don't know. I would never watch it again, probably.
No.
It just doesn't interest me. I think it's just too much about the judges, and it's just not... just caters to a genre that I don't really care about.
Yeah. Boom.
Okay. Done and done. What else did we watch, Sarah? We watched something, we almost marathoned it.
American Horror Story?
Asylum. Season dose of American Horror Story.
God, it was terrible.
So let's put this in the context. How'd you feel about the first season? Was it good, trashy fun, or was it like a grind?
It was good, trashy fun, I think, the first season. I think I kind of, like, level with you, where, like, there are a couple episodes where I'd be like, meh, I don't really care. And then something the next episode would happen, you'd be like, what? Like, it would be a slight thing, like, nothing major, but it would be, like, that slight thing, you'd be like, what?
There's enough provocative shit that made you, even though you knew it's just appealing to the worst part of you.
Yeah.
Like,
No, trashy. It was trashy fun.
Kept you wanting to at least continue on to the next episode. I think it's like fits and starts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it never, like, totally worked for me. But, like, when at the end of it, I was like, well, I watched it. Like, and I was okay. I was entertained.
We high-fived each other.
Yeah. Like, it was
when they were all dead.
So,
spoiler.
I went into season 2 just based on the premise that it's like, because I love the idea of the show, like the anthology series type of idea, where every season is a different story.
Yeah, different story to, like, and it's different aspects of, like, an American Horror Story.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's taking on tropes and cliches.
Fantastic.
It's a great idea. It's a fantastic idea.
In practice,
American Horror Story Asylum, the second season.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, what's her name?
Jessica Lange?
Jessica Lange. Aside from Jessica Lange, who's great. She's great in the first season, too. Is pretty unremarkable. Like, boring. I'd say it was boring.
And a lot of unnecessary things happen.
Yeah, there's just so many subplots that they don't know what to do with, and they just abruptly, like...
Solve them.
And
to get them out of your head.
And then they move on. Mm-hmm. And which is unfortunate, because one of the more interesting subplots is just totally resolved within, like, 10 seconds.
Which one?
There's the subplot where
spoiler?
Yeah, there's spoilers, and the season 2's been out for a while, and it's been on Netflix, was where we watched it. We watched it on Netflix. It's been out for a while, so I hope you've seen it. I hope you haven't seen it, but, like, don't give a shit. Don't watch it. Who cares about spoilers? Satan, I guess apparently Satan, or some demon, has possessed...
one of the nuns.
The perfect, innocent, young nun.
Yeah.
And...
no, you're right.
And they totally waste this subplot. Like, they start doing really interesting things with it.
Yeah, she manipulates everyone around her.
And you would think that would be, like, the focus of the show. Like, it would be building up to some big confrontation between her
to a big, like, exorcism, like, rid this girl of this demon.
Or
That's what I was hoping for, like...
her and Jessica Lange. I knew that girl was gonna have to die, because that's just the way the fucking, like, modern television... You have to do something shocking like that. You can't give people what they want in this type of scenario. You can't.
Right.
You don't want to give them that kind of relief. You don't want to give them a big dramatic moment. So I knew she was gonna have to die. Mm-hmm. But basically what happens, this is how they resolve it. They have like a couple episodes where the devil starts making some shaking and moving in the asylum, and then the priest pushes her off a balcony, and that's it.
Yeah, she falls down 3 flights of steps.
Even though
but over a balcony.
The way this nun got possessed was because they brought somebody to the asylum in like the second episode that was initially possessed and that dies during the exorcism, and the demon moves to this nun's body. Okay, so how the fuck does pushing her off her balcony and killing the vessel, stop the demon? Stop the demon. How does that even make any sense?
You think it would have been one of the other characters? You're completely right. Never thought of that.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
But that was like probably the most interesting subplot they had. They have this whole mad scientist subplot about
that goes nowhere.
That there's I'm blanking on his name. Fuck.
I can't remember it either.
Farmer Hoggett.
Yeah.
From Babe.
I
actually really like him a lot. He's a great actor.
That'll do, Pig.
But he plays like this Nazi scientist in hiding, because it takes place in like 1960s. Nazi scientist in hiding, and he's like doing these experiments with like with the TB virus and making basically kind of like these mutant zombie people, trying to like unlock the next stage of human evolution. And literally, like they do a few things with it in the beginning, then they don't bring it up for like 4 or 5 episodes, and then he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore, and he goes out and just shoots all of his test subjects in the head.
Yeah.
And then it's never addressed again.
Nope. In the snow, he shoots them.
It's so weird.
Oh, I think kind of like that one has a little more, like, background to the ending than just shoving the nun off the balcony. Because to him, it was all about also, like, enticing the innocent, because that's why he loves the innocent nun. He has this thing for the innocent nun. And I think when the culmination with her comes to a point where he, like, can't love her anymore because she's so fucking wicked because she has the devil inside of her, he realizes there's no reason to love much anymore.
There's no reason to continue on.
Yeah, and that's why he does it. So I think there is a little justification to that, but still kind of dumb.
I agree that
there's more justification to that, like, abrupt ending than to how the nun was killed. And you're right about the spirit not passing to any of those fucking crazies in that asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, like, why didn't it go to that priest that was wicked?
Well, he wasn't wicked. He was, like,
corrupt.
He was corrupt because of his ambition. So he would, like, turn a blind eye to
shit so he become
things.
Cardinal. And
he would turn a blind eye to shit.
Yeah.
And he wasn't
like most priests.
He wasn't being honest.
Yeah.
And he lied a lot and stuff like that. Well, occasionally, not even a ton, but like I don't know, there was just like a lot of interesting things, and they were trying to make some kind of statements.
And they brought aliens in, which was the dumbest
thing.
Well,
aliens was a subplot. That was another subplot that strung out the entire series, because one of the characters that's admitted, it's like wife is dead or disappears, and he gets accused of murder, and basically she just got abducted by aliens, and like
impregnated by aliens.
And they touch on that here and there, and they bring it back at the end, and that ends up being like the big culminating plot,
which I thought was dumb.
Which was weak because they don't even attempt to really explain much of anything. And they have the whole thing with bloody face. That was wasn't bad.
It would have been interesting.
It would have been interesting, but it was just predictable.
But then they brought in Dylan McDermott.
Who I don't mind, but
I'm more of a Quinto girl. Mr. Zachary Quinto.
Zachary Quinto wasn't bad in the show either.
No. Here's the thing. Take Zachary Quinto, cast him as a character who doesn't have to express much emotion, be it Spock or a serial killer called Bloodyface, and he's good. Because he's just very good at being, like, calculating.
I suppose.
No, that's a very precise role for Quinto.
Well, you've never watched Heroes.
No. I really don't want to.
The first season of Heroes is fantastic. I've never seen it. I've heard bad things about the other ones, but the first season, totally solid. Totally worth your time. I'm telling you. Whatever.
Okay, you can have it.
Season 1 of Heroes is actually really good. And not in the way that I sometimes just like things that you wouldn't like. I'm serious. Mm-hmm. It's not like Fringe or something like that.
Oh, Fringe is fucking terrible. Sean's shaking his head. You can't see it.
Yeah, well, so let's go watch another Wes Anderson movie. Which I like Wes Anderson. I do, because I'm open. I'm an open person, and I'll experience things. But Wes Anderson movies are really shallow and basic, and they tell the same story every fucking movie.
It looks like I'm seeing Budapest Hotel by myself.
I'll go see it. I probably won't.
Or Hotel Budapest.
I probably won't fawn over it like you.
Oh, fuck you.
But, The best movie he made is Life Aquatic, and let's end it there.
Bottle Rocket. Anyway.
Well, Bottle Rocket, because it's the most un-Wes Anderson movie of all his movies.
It was his first film.
If you want to go there.
Let's not, because we've a list.
But anyways, aside from that, the most annoying thing about American Horror Story to me is that it is a very, like, political agenda, like, modern... It wants to address, like, all these modern social, like, things, subjects. And basically it just goes down a list of, like, checking boxes.
Which was funny, because you were literally doing that the entire series, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, if it's like, you know...
Lesbians in the 60s, check.
Well, but then, but that's also to bring up this larger conversation. It's just about
no, but it was like
about
you're
equality,
right.
and gay marriage and
abortion, check.
And abortion and incest, like anything that's tintillating or like salacious or anything that might be somebody could construe as being somewhat controversial.
No, you're right.
They just checking boxes, and in the first season did the same thing. Actually, it covers a lot of the same territory, so it's kind of just redundant in the second season. But they're trying to do it because they're like, well, this is the '60s. We're gonna show what it's like, and it's to comment on today. It's the same way that kind of like Mad Men might do it. I don't think it does as good a job as Mad Men. Mad Men is more often than not like successful. Mad Men's just got to a place where it's like, man, you guys really need to end this shit.
No, I agree. Hopefully...
Don Draper's dead.
No, Draper needs to fall out that window.
I think Don Draper has been dead for 2 seasons. No, I'm just kidding. There's a theory out there that he's dead.
I mean...
But I don't buy it, though.
I don't buy it either, but...
Because that show's way too literal.
No, but you know, with Matthew Weiner, like... He already knows the ending, so obviously it's going somewhere.
I hope so.
No, that's how he starts every show. That's what he talks about, was like, every show he starts Sopranos, you know, whatever it is.
He's just building towards the ending?
Yeah, he knows how it's gonna end.
I don't buy that with Sopranos.
This fucking Sopranos ending was dumb. I couldn't really even get into Sopranos a ton. I like got like a couple seasons in, still didn't care about the characters, and I was like, eh.
I don't know. I actually watched all of Sopranos in a very short succession.
No, so did I.
You didn't watch the whole thing.
Most of it. Most of it.
It's like 6 seasons.
I watched like 4, and then knew the ending.
Well, the ending is perfect. Moving on. Well, it's perfect for that show. That show is like got peaks and valleys. That's like, for me, that's how it was. Like, there was times I was like, wow, this is really great. And then other times where like, wow, you're just dragging this fuck out.
Like
how many
Mad
times
Men.
do we want to readdress the same goddamn thing?
Like Mad Men.
Kind of like Mad Men. And Mad Men, I think, is more like immediately satisfying as like a piece of like pop fiction.
I think he's doing a lot better because he's dealing with multiple eras.
Yeah.
So he can like easily tie in like trials of the era, whether it be racism, single motherhood, abortions, birth control.
Yeah, he does.
You know, because he's doing it. It's obviously like, you know, every season's a year or 2. So you know, so it's. I think that's why it's a little more successful for him.
Yeah,
because he can take those things and a little bit add to the peak of the show by adding in these social commentaries. So
yeah, and the only time I think he ever thought it was like really awkward was when they got into and it's just not to say that he shouldn't have done this, but it's just, I think they just handled awkwardly in the show. Is like anytime, like the last season, basically anytime it dealt with like racism was like really awkwardly handled.
No, totally
awkwardly handled, and
especially with like Dawn. When they got the secretary, the first black secretary in the office.
Yeah.
And Peggy, and then Peggy, like, pities, like, you can come sleep at my apartment, and then makes her feel like shit. You're like,
yeah, but,
well, what the fuck?
And Peggy had already covered that territory in, like, season 2 or season 3.
And so Peggy's supposed to be the most, like, progressive character, I'm assuming, and then, like... Yeah.
Well, like, it doesn't bother me because she's supposed to be... Because people make mistakes. You want, like, a realistic kind of thing, and people, however enlightened they may be, you're still going to make mistakes. You're still going to, like, fuck up socially. So I just thought it was just handled, just the way they presented it was extremely awkward and distracting.
Yeah.
Rather than being, like, feeling naturally part of the narrative. like they had successfully done, because the secret to Mad Men's success, like, is that it is secretly like a feminist piece. It is.
I know.
And you know it is.
I know it is.
I mean, I'm not talking about, like, the way, like, currently, like, the term is used.
No,
Feminism.
totally. But you can sit there and look at every female character in that show, and, like, it shows so much about society. Like, each character with the females, I think more so than the men.
The men are pretty static.
Yeah.
And that's kind of...
And predictable. As opposed to every woman on that show.
Has growth.
And they're not predictable.
But I think that's part of the point.
No, I understand.
It's bullheaded ignorance.
I was expanding.
Yeah. It's willful bullheaded ignorance on the part of the male characters. And
especially Pete Campbell.
And that's the thing, like, even at the time, all the men struggling with the idea of what it means to be a man and, like, the redefinition of that.
Yeah.
And, like... And that's normal and natural, and you can't really fault people for, like, doing some of the things they do in that show, just because of the era and stuff. So if you want to put it in a historical context, but the only time Mad Men ever loses me is when they directly, like, are pulling it out of historical context to make a larger, like...
Oh, with, like, when Marilyn Monroe died, and all the secretaries were like...
Yeah, I don't know why people have a thing for Marilyn Monroe. I really don't.
No, I'm just saying, but things like that were just kind of like, I understand that it historically makes sense, but...
No, I'm talking... Well, because it would have been weird if they didn't address it in the show because of what time period it took
No,
place.
I understand, but...
She was an icon, like...
No, but I understand it didn't really add much to dialogue, though.
No, because a lot of things in that they comment on, as far as, like, historically, is in passing.
That's what I meant, like...
And that's fine. To me, that's fine.
No, but, like, that was weird, though,
I mean, when they...
Okay. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, what I meant about taking it out of its historical context, they're imposing a modern viewpoint on that time period.
Okay.
And I feel that... Like,
I just misheard your word, sorry.
To make their point. Like, sometimes they will directly put in things that nobody would fucking say at that time to make a point.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, I misheard you as taking it out of historical context, like taking from history.
No.
I misheard you.
No. Because it exists in that time period, so I assume they're going to hit the major things that happen in that time period as far as... And they have to. They have to reference it somehow.
Yeah.
Because it's expected, and I expect that, so that doesn't bother me. But when any show that, like, has, like, these, like, social initiatives, I guess you call them, or agendas or whatever, it pulls me out when they can't, like, make it work within, like, what the framework that they have built.
Yeah.
And when they have to pull it out of that to make a point about, like, society, and like I said, using, like, modern context in the past, I think it just gets distracting, and I think it's just bad storytelling, and that's just kind of weak, because I think you can make those same points without, like, being like wink wink nudge nudge, aren't we brave? Like, you know, that shit bothers me. Anything that's, like, overly preachy bothers me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was raised Catholic, and I fucking never liked church. Why would I want to watch TV shows where I have people, like, preaching from a pulpit? It's just a different kind of pulpit, that's all it is.
Whoa there.
Anyways, American Horror Story Asylum. Pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have one more show that we started watching. We haven't finished it yet. Sarah did not like this show at all. At first. We started watching Hannibal.
Yeah.
I was willing to give it a chance because I was kind of on the same page of, like, being like, well, this is kind of weak. Because we watched the first 2 episodes when it was on TV.
Yep.
And I was like, well, this is kind of weak.
No, it's funny, though. Because at the same time, Bates Motel was going on, and at that time, I was more into Bates Motel.
Yeah.
I'm actually, right now, more interested in now finishing Hannibal than I am Bates Motel. I don't even care if we ever go back to Bates Motel.
Yeah. I think Hannibal's a better show.
No, which is what you said, now I believe you, so kudos.
I think it's anchored by a way better performance. Mads Mikkelsen, he's
he's fucking awesome.
Danish. I want to say he's Danish. I think he's a Danish actor. People in America would know him from, he plays the bad guy in Casino Royale. But he's fantastic. He plays Hannibal. He's fantastic.
Awesome.
Hugh Dancy plays, like, the main protagonist, like, crime scene investigator Wonderkin, whatever you want to call it.
Which he's like...
almost like basically like he's a criminal profiler. Sorry.
Yeah, but by trade he's a teacher.
He's a teacher because he can't pass the psych test to become an agent.
Yeah.
So he
Which
has
I
like,
wonder why.
So, like,
maybe we'll find out in season 2.
Ooh. And then, so you spend a lot of time in his head, and you see a lot of like, and they're able to
weird
do like
shit,
cool aesthetic things, and like
Yeah.
able to show you his mind recreating the scene.
Also, shout out to Baltimore in this show.
Well, yeah, shows you a thing or two about Baltimore.
Oh, shut up. No, but I'm just saying.
Full of cannibals and murderers, that town.
Boom. No, but it's I don't know, like, the more we've watched it, it's easier for me to get drawn into and pay attention to, as opposed to those first couple episodes where I was kind of like, eh.
Well, because that's...
And I understand now. It's like, it's definitely a character show. Like, you have to get drawn into the worlds of those characters. So it has to build more.
Well, the thing about, like, TV shows, like, in their construction... No, I'm serious. This is a serious thing I'm about to say to you.
Okay.
Let's say some serious shit. Drop some science on you.
Shit.
When you have your first season of a show, and you'll notice this, like, in hindsight, you'll recognize this in other shows. A first season of a show, I'd say like 90% of the time, especially when it comes to network television, has, like, especially shows like Hannibal, like you said, they're kind of character pieces, right? In the broader spectrum, right? But the first 5 episodes have to be able to be watched without having seen the one before it, because you're building your audience.
No, it's the same with Mad Men. It's what I told people. Get 5 episodes in, and you'll love it.
Because that's the thing. Like, they can't, like, really do any real building until, like, they're 5 episodes in.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to gain that audience, and they know people are going to miss the first couple, or whatever, or their friends are going to be like, oh, you really should check out Hannibal, it's, and then they'll watch it next week, or whatever. Even though in today's day and age, like, people shouldn't really have to worry about that because of on-demand services and whatnot. And if you're watching it on TV from week to week, you probably have cable and you probably have access to the episodes. But still, the powers that be, that's how they still demand, like, shows be constructed. Yeah. Especially for network television. It's a little different when you get into, like, the premium cable and shit like that. They don't really worry too much about that, but
no.
But Hannibal is a show that fell victim to that. Like, where it does take a little while to get going. Because they have some kind of interesting things. They have kind of like what I call Monster of the Week style episodes, where they have, or Crime of the Week or whatever. And while some of them would be interesting, they had to wrap it up in 40 minutes, and it could never build to anything really interesting. But I think it's picked up a lot of steam, and now that it's kind of full bore, like, serialized now, where every episode is leading into the next. I think it's getting really good. It's a lot of TV shows. You have to kind of accept a lot of contrivance, and there's some seriously contrived shit that makes me, like, chuckle. Yeah. But overall, I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm enjoying it with the caveat that you kind of got to accept a few things.
No, I've liked it the more we've watched it, and I hate when you put it on when I'm falling asleep because I try and stay awake. I'm like, no.
Well, because she didn't want to watch it. So I just was like, you know what?
Fuck it.
I'm just going to watch it. So, there you go.
No, I recommend it. I hope we finish it soon.
Yeah, we will finish it, because it's season 2 starts in February next year.
Gotta finish that shit.
Yeah.
Because January is almost upon us, believe it or not.
Yeah, almost there.
What the hell?
A few days away from Christmas, the New Year's, and
2014.
We will. Yeah, but so that's it for really TV shows.
Yeah.
We did go see a movie.
Which I'm very glad we saw.
We saw this movie instead of going to see the new Hobbit.
Yes, which you know what, in hindsight, as much as I love Tolkien, glad we made this choice.
Yeah, me too. Because the Hobbit, I kind of know exactly what I'm going to get, and I know I'm going to be kind of disappointed. Yeah. I have checked expectations for that, because I on repeat viewings of the first one, like, I really kind of was down on it. And we saw Anchorman 2. Yes. The movie was 10 years, a decade in the making.
Which I'm really glad they did.
It's crazy that it's been 10 years. I saw the first one.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know that until you just said it.
Yeah, it's been 10 years since Anchorman.
It doesn't feel like it.
No, it's one of those things. Did it need to be made? Is it necessary?
You know what? I'm going to punch you right in the baby maker.
But it's not. It wasn't necessary. They didn't have to make it. It almost serves no purpose, really, other than just to make
Entertainment.
Entertain, like, I think themselves just as much as us.
Yeah.
I am a really big fan of Anchorman. It is one of my favorite comedies that have come out in the past, like, in the 2000s, definitely. I can probably include most of the 90s into that as well.
Yeah.
So probably, like, say, like, 15 or 16 years of comedies. Like, Anchorman.
That's one of them for me, too, I think.
And I had a weird relationship, because I was kind of like, I thought it was okay when I first saw it.
Really? I loved it from the moment I saw it in theater, and then...
I thought it was okay. It wasn't, and then I had a good job, and I used to just buy movies recklessly. And I bought it. I was like, oh, fuck, Anchorman, alright, I buy it. I just go to Best Buy and, like, buy the new movies. So, like, I owned, like, Phantom of the Opera and shit. Like, I owned, like, all this weird shit. I owned, Rent.
Oh.
I would just buy movies. I would just buy them.
I don't know about our wedding now.
I would just buy them. So, and
Everyone has AIDS.
AIDS. I bought Anchorman, watched it again, really liked it a lot more. Like,
yeah.
And then kind of obsessively watched it over, like, the next, like, 5 or 6 years or so. I watch it all the time. It's got one of the funniest commentary tracks because it's, like, just another comedy sketch, actually. It's really funny.
Oh, I've never heard the commentary.
Yeah, they're, like, they constantly are trying to, like, do a commentary, but their friends keep coming in. And, like, at one point, like, Andy Richter gets, like, stabbed. It's really funny. And this is all just happening while they're doing commentary. It ends up being really funny. They always do weird shit when they do commentaries.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch the Step Brothers commentaries, they sing the entire commentary, I believe, in that one.
Voice of Angels.
Like, seriously, sing the entire thing. They don't ever just like, okay, we're going to do it. No, they just sing.
That's funny.
It's crazy.
Oh, Will Ferrell, I love you.
Adam McKay. Well, the thing about Anchorman is, like, well, because you obviously liked it.
Yeah. I fucking loved it.
Me too.
Now I think both, which was, okay, side note, the other amazing thing about us seeing it was that we were the only two in the fucking theater in our small town. Yeah. So we could laugh out loud, we could say things.
Yeah, we had a private screening, basically. This and Your Next. That's 2 for this year. We had 2 private screenings this year, thanks to Lionsgate and Paramount.
And living in a small town.
Yeah, we went to see, like, a morning show on a Friday, so that probably had a lot to do with it.
Shh.
So, yeah, but really happy we saw it.
Yeah, because I was like, movies like that, I want to be able to laugh and, like, say things and just be, like, you know, whatever. So it's either you have to be in a really packed crowd that's into it, because you'll hear, like, random comments or laughing, and you get really into it.
Yeah.
Or you get those, you know, I don't know, people that just were like, meh. So it was good that we had it to ourselves, but it really had no set plot or direction. It did to a point, but also not really.
Loose. Super loose.
It's loose. And I kind of liked it, though, because they played on all of their strengths, and it was just amazing.
And I like that not too much of the movie was, like, predicated on callbacks.
No, which is, going into it, we thought it would. Both of us.
Well, you know what? Like, from the trailer, I thought this movie was gonna be all about...
Callbacks.
No, I thought it was all gonna be about race. I thought that was gonna be the big thing.
Because they show the dinner.
That's the thing in the trailer. That's the big moment in the trailer.
Yeah.
And the movie...
And it's not.
It's just another part of, like, this really crazy, wild ride.
Which is funny, because you were telling me about all the commentary. People like, like, why do I have to pander to, like, Will Ferrell's, like, racism?
No, like, in 2013, why would I think Ron Burgundy's passive racism is hilarious?
Yeah,
which is it's a weird comment because it's such a small part of the movie.
It's a small part of the movie, and also, like, he's playing an exaggerated character of the 60s, 70s.
He's playing Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, Ron Burgundy.
The sexist, chauvinist, like, pig that doesn't fucking understand anything. That's kind of an idiot.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
But this movie was not entirely shallow.
No.
Like, it makes... The point that the movie's trying to make is the nature of the news cycle. Because it has to do with the birth of the 24-hour news networks.
Yeah, which was interesting, because then, like, also the commentary on who owns the networks and stuff.
Yeah. So they were...
That was awesome.
And they did the same thing with the other guys, like, about, like, Wall Street. That was all, like, a condemnation of, like, banksters and shit like that.
Yeah.
And big corporations. But, I love the fact that they attributed, like, Ron Burgundy and his crew are the people that ruined news, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, like...
Like, why do we... the quote is, like, why do we have to, like, report the news that people need? Why can't we just report the news that people want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and it was awesome. Like, and that was a good point. Like,
No, because if you... And then you think about news nowadays, regardless of what era they're presenting
that's what
this
they're riffing
news...
on.
Yeah, and it's like, fucking, you're right.
No, it is. And, like...
Here's this cute puppy.
And in a really, like, cheesy way, and it was, like... The movie doesn't support that message, because it's not... It's only... It's there as an afterthought to making you laugh. Which is a comedy, so I'm fine with that.
My favorite part of the song, without spoiling... My favorite part of the movie, without spoiling anything, is the song.
Oh, yeah. The
One
shark song.
There's a shark song.
The shark song. No, but, like... What I was saying was that, like, they do give you the message of the movie very directly at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but it's also doesn't, like...
He literally speaks it.
But it doesn't kill anything.
No, it doesn't kill it, and it's right. And he's right.
Exactly.
It's like, what is the role of news? The role of news is to keep the powers that be in check. And, like, keep the public informed about what they're doing. And that, like, and by keeping people informed, keeps them from, like... Well, keeps them in check. That's poorly said. That's what it is. That's what
I dig it.
Can you dig it? But yeah, it was hilarious. I laughed throughout the whole thing.
You did. You belly laughed too. It wasn't just
there's
it wasn't
some
just
really
like
great bits in that movie. There is some fantastic fucking bits in that movie.
Yeah, there's a couple parts where I couldn't stop laughing.
All right. We got one spoiler.
Okay.
One spoiler. Well, what do you want to say? What are your final thoughts about Anchorman 2, just in general? Because it's not a movie you can really just sit there and talk about for a long period of time without, like, ruining it, but...
I go see it. That's all I want to say.
I say it's a perfect Christmas movie for your family. It really... I'm shocked how much I like that movie.
Yeah. No, because we both went in knowing we both liked the franchise, and then we both walked out being like, that was fine to it.
Yeah. I don't think... It's not as well structured. It's a mess. Like, it's not as...
It's a beautiful mess, though, baby.
It's not as... It's like... The Anchorman 1 is really funny, but it's also very cohesive. Like, it flows... It tells a story, and actually has, like, an arc and everything like that.
Yeah.
Not so much in the Anchorman 2. But having said that, like, there's zero character development. Like, it just brings things up and drops them, and, like, it doesn't really care. And, like, that's kind of part of the fun of the movie, I guess. And, like, it is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
It really is.
I agree.
So yeah, it's definitely a recommend from us. But
what's the one spoiler?
Fucking Kanye West is in this movie.
Oh no!
For like 2 seconds, but it's enough to be like, why is Kanye West in this movie?
Yeah, and can I say what I said?
What?
Why do you have more than one line?
Yeah, because he was bad too. He wasn't even like it wasn't like even a fun cameo. He was like bad. Delivered his lines poorly.
Kind of like a half retarded kid. No offense to...
I mean, like...
No, the way he read was so stuttered and like...
Yeah, they give him more... I'm happy he gets blown up.
Boom. Yeah, me too. No, but also appropriate, he was part of the MTV generation.
Yeah, that's what the joke was, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but... Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, why the fuck's Kanye West in this movie?
Well,
can I just say something? Had a baby on the way. Last couple albums, not done so well. So, maybe.
Some people think Yeezus is whack.
Oh, he's Yeezus now?
That's his last album, was called Yeezus.
Oh, I just know him as Yeezy.
And I've heard some people think it's whack.
Oh. That's not a personal opinion.
No, I've never heard it, so I don't have an opinion. Yeah.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, I don't know. Go see it.
Yeah, Anchorman 2 is well worth your time and your hard-earned dollars. It is. It's a good. I mean, well, Wolf of Wall Street's coming out though, so you might want to go see that instead this Christmas. I haven't seen it yet. That's what I really want to see. Wolf of Wall Street would have won out over Anchorman 2. However,
had it come out before Christmas.
Yes, I probably would have won out. I am pretty stoked for that movie because I'm a big Martin Scorsese fan. I hear it's really good.
I just like Leo.
Anchorman 2 was really great, really funny. Surprisingly so. Surprised how much I laughed. I don't know if it'll hold up. I'm not sure. Just because it is so scattershot. But
I'd watch it again.
I'm totally going to watch it again. I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Blu-ray to come out so I can watch all the deleted scenes, all the shit that didn't make it.
Yeah, because it's like a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, because, there's like musical numbers that got cut out. And,
Which, what?
all sorts of shit. And like the thing about, because Anchorman 1 had so much extra stuff, they were able to cut an alternate movie. The alternate movie doesn't make very much sense.
But it's still funny? I've never watched the alternate version.
There's entire subplots that are like about like pacifist bank robbers and stuff that are not in the movie.
What?
Like all this
I
other
haven't
stuff.
seen this.
There's this like weird thing with like Veronica Lake. Is that her name?
No.
Veronica Stone.
Cornerstone.
Veronica Cornerstone?
Yeah.
Cornerstone?
Yeah.
Christina Applegate's character. That like I guess it kind of implies that they knew each other before. Yeah, there's all this shit that's
I
not.
haven't. Can we watch that?
Yeah, actually, I got it last night. So, but it's. I mean, most of it's probably it was good that they cut it out. It was, but this one I feel like they just like were a little bit looser with the editing, and they're like, throw it in there. Like, because the first one because it's kind of long, so it's like 119 minutes, almost 2 hours long. It's just long for a comedy, especially one like this. But it held my attention. I was laughing. I am a big Will Ferrell fan, though.
I'm also a Paul Rudd fan.
And I love those characters. I think there's like anything that comes, and Dave Koechner and like Paul Rudd and Steve Carell, I think they're awesome. Like they're great in those movies, and like it doesn't take. They don't really have to do very much to make me laugh.
Yeah,
they don't. Like I like they could read the phone book, and I'd probably think it was funny. Like, that's the kind of...
that's exaggerating.
No, that's the kind of effect they have on me. Like, Will Ferrell? I don't know why.
No, I love Will Ferrell, too.
And I never got into, like, the Will Ferrell backlash from a couple years ago. But now
when was that?
He's fine. Like, when Land of the Lost came out and stuff.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Like,
I didn't even pay attention.
I saw, like, kicking and screaming in the theater. Like, the one where he's a soccer coach. Like,
was that good?
Junior League soccer coach. It's funny. He's funny. He's great. Robert Duvall's in it.
I never saw that.
It's really good. Well, I mean... really good and relatively really good.
Yeah.
It's a good like family movie, I guess.
Okay.
It's funny. Mike Ditka's in it.
I love Ditka, the Bears.
But yeah, so I do have a bias in that area. So I guess keep that in mind when you think about this recommendation. But
no, I still recommend it too. And
if you like the first Anchorman, it's well worth your time.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good. If you like the Adam McKay, Will Ferrell movies, like Step Brothers and the other guys and. Even Casa de Mi Padre is like somewhat Adam McKay. That's kind of their thing too.
Dude, I love that movie because people were like, "Why is most of it in Spanish?" And I was like,
"Because that was the joke.
It is a Spanish drama."
That's a ballsy movie to make.
No, it was still good. I
think that movie's fantastic.
Gal Garcia Bernal, so good in that movie.
Yeah, I think everybody's great in that movie.
Yeah,
and it is funny just to see Will Ferrell like try to seriously like
speak Spanish,
act as a Spanish like actor. Like, yeah. And it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I think that's gonna do it for us today.
Okay.
All right. I'm Sean.
I'm Sarah.
And this is My Future Husband Facefucked podcast, episode 18. Thank you for listening.
Nebulous.
See you later.
Lates.